Hey folks, welcome to Shooting Up North. I'm your host, Louis Carlin. We're right here on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching for the first time, please consider hitting that subscribe button. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm on Twitter at Shooting Up North, Instagram at Alliance PW Network, and feel free to join our Facebook group, the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. And again, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you don't already subscribe to the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network YouTube channel. And please, if you enjoy the video, hit that like button as well. Okay, so let's get into it. Marshall and Ross Von Erich are officially free agents. Their contracts with MLW has expired. Reading here from Fightful.com says the Von Erichs are reportedly free agents. Mike Johnson at PW Insider reports that Marshall and Ross Von Erich are free agents as their deals with MLW have expired. Not sure why Fightful is saying they're reportedly free agents when Mike Johnson of PW Insider is specifically saying that they are free agents as their deals with MLW have expired. So the Von Erichs are, in fact, free agents, not reportedly free agents. They are free agents. It says the former MLW Tag Team Champions said in November their contracts were set to expire in June, but they are now clear of any contractual obligations. Marshall recently noted that they were moving back to Texas. The duo last wrestled for MLW at the Kings of Colosseum taping on May 13th, 2022, and they haven't wrestled since Ric Flair's last match when they faced the Briscoes, Mark and Jay Briscoe. Um, so the Von Erichs are free agents, and Impact Wrestling should do what they need to do to sign Marshall and Ross Von Erich, in my opinion. They are a terrific, terrific tag team. They absolutely thrived in MLW. They were given an opportunity in MLW and they made the most of it. Former MLW tag team champions. They were the top tag team in MLW for quite some time, and they are now free agents. They would be absolutely perfect, in my opinion, in Impact Wrestling. They would come in immediately. They are a legitimate tag team. They would be a great addition to the Impact Wrestling tag team division. They would just get right in there with the Motor City Machine Guns, Bay and Austin, and become immediately one of the top tag teams in Impact Wrestling. So Impact Wrestling, they're going all out. They're bringing in Nick Aldis. They brought in Nick Aldis lately. They signed Trinity to a contract, formerly Naomi, as we know, huge signing there. And now let's let's bring in the Von Erichs. Let's bring in Marshall and Ross Von Erich. I think would be a terrific sign. I'm thinking Bay and Austin versus the Von Erichs for the Impact Wrestling World Tag Team Championship would be outstanding. Von Erichs against the Motor City Machine Guns would be terrific. John Schuyler, Jason Hotch against the Von Erichs would be terrific as well. And the Von Erichs, they're a great tag team. They're also excellent singles wrestlers as well. So they could come in as a tag team. They could also challenge for singles titles as well. An X Division championship, maybe or even an Impact Wrestling World title. So the Von Erichs, great tag team, great talents. Impact Wrestling should, without a doubt, do what they need to do to bring the Von Erichs in. I think they will be terrific additions to the Impact Wrestling roster. It doesn't specify in here who might be interested. When you think of there's the WWE, there's AEW. I don't know if I mean, they could go to AEW, but there was just so many tag teams there. They would just get absolutely lost in the shuffle, in my opinion, in AEW. There were so many tag teams there. WWE, I don't know. I don't see them going to, they maybe go to NXT and try to work their way up to the main roster, or they could go to Impact Wrestling and immediately become one of the top tag teams in Impact Wrestling, without a doubt. And like I said, they're tremendous talents. I'm thinking even like if they went against Decay, there were a number of tag teams. Even Rhino and Heath, if they come back together against the Von Erichs, there's a number of tag teams that the Von Erichs could face. Of course, in Impact Wrestling. Of course, the match that I would really want to see would be Chris Bay, Ace Austin against the Von Erichs, Marshall and Ross Von Erichs for the Impact Wrestling World Tag Team Championship. I think that would be a tremendous match, and hopefully Impact Wrestling brings them in. Like I said, they're bringing in big names lately. Nick Aldis coming in. I mentioned Trinity coming in as well. Recently bringing in, well, I said big names, but they brought in indie superstar Jody Threat. They're bringing new talent in. Let's bring in the Von Erichs. The Von Erichs free agents, one of the top tag teams in professional wrestling. They had a terrific match against the Briscoes. Jay Briscoe, rest in peace, of course. But they had a terrific match with the Briscoes at Ric Flair's last match, and they've had numerous tremendous matches in MLW as well. And and they haven't wrestled for MLW since 2022. I think I was reading. I can't remember if one of them was injured or not. I'm not sure, but it's. I think it's safe to say that their time with MLW is definitely over. I don't think they're going to get re-signed by MLW. I think they would have been re-signed already. So Impact Wrestling should just go right after the Von Erichs and bring them in. And as I said, as they're a great tag team, they're also very good singles wrestlers as well. And they could add to the X division or even an opponent, a potential opponent for whoever the Impact Wrestling World Champion may be. So Scott D'Amore, Impact Wrestling, bring in the Von Erichs. I think it'll be a terrific addition to Impact Wrestling. And hopefully, we will see the Von Erichs coming into Impact Wrestling very, very, very soon. Okay, so Steve Macklin, Impact Wrestling World Champion Steve Macklin. He was asked about a potential return to the WWE. See, now whenever I interview Impact Wrestling talent, I'm specifically told, do not ask about any other promotions except Impact Wrestling. But I guess the Wrestling Perspective podcast, they have maybe they have their own set of rules or they have a special set of rules. But Steve Macklin was asked, he appeared on the Wrestling Perspective podcast. Well, the Wrestling Perspective podcast is a little bit bigger than the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network, so maybe they have special privileges. But anyway, that's not what I want to get into. Steve Macklin was asked about a potential return to the WWE. Now he's the Impact Wrestling World Champion, so he said depends on this is quoting Steve Macklin when asked about a potential return to the WWE. He says depends on the situation where I'm at. Maybe I don't know. I wouldn't mind. So the Impact Wrestling World Champion indicating that he wouldn't mind going back to the WWE. That's fine. If you wouldn't mind going back to the WWE, WWE is a little higher up in the pro wrestling chain. Well, a lot higher up in the pro wrestling chain than Impact Wrestling in terms of money, in terms of production, but not in terms of talent. But Steve Macklin saying that he wouldn't mind. Now, as the Impact Wrestling World Champion, I don't that doesn't sit well, man. That doesn't sit well with me, and hopefully it doesn't sit well with you either. What he should have said, in my opinion, is I'm the Impact Wrestling World Champion. I'm happy in Impact Wrestling right now. I don't want to think about going back to the WWE. I have the world title here in Impact Wrestling, and I want to do what I can to elevate Impact Wrestling as the Impact Wrestling World Champion. That's the answer that I would have that I was kind of hoping he would have given. Not well, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind going back to the WWE. And how does that make like Scott D'Amore feel? Scott D'Amore just putting the Impact Wrestling World title on Steve Macklin. You're the guy. You're gonna run with the title. And Steve Macklin, what, a month later says, I wouldn't mind going back to the WWE. I don't know. It just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. That's all. Now, again, don't get me wrong. It's Steve Macklin, tremendous talent, and he could go wherever he wants. But I'm just saying, when Josh Alexander was the Impact Wrestling World Title, and if he was asked, "Would you like to go to the WWE?" he wouldn't say, "Well, I wouldn't mind." He would give an answer that would be a more positive towards trying to build up Impact Wrestling, a more positive answer for Impact Wrestling. Josh Alexander would have said, I basically was saying I'm the Impact Wrestling World Champion. My job, my goal is to elevate Impact Wrestling, to make it a better product, and to bring more fans into bring more fans, bring more eyes to Impact Wrestling. That's an answer that Josh Alexander most likely would have given. But see, Macklin's like, oh, it depends on the situation. Maybe, I don't know. Wouldn't mind. So I don't know. Especially if he wasn't the Impact Wrestling World Champion, maybe that'd be okay. But you're the Impact Wrestling World Champion, and I just think he could have given a better answer. I think he could have given a better answer than that. So now we know that the Impact Wrestling World Champion wouldn't mind going back to the WWE. So if he's offered a contract by the WWE, say in like 2 weeks, is he gonna look to get out of his contract? You know what I mean? I just don't like that answer. I just don't like that answer. That's just me. Again, leaves a bad taste in my mouth. It's basically saying, yeah, I'm the Impact Wrestling World Champion, but hey, WWE comes calling. This title means nothing to me. That's what it sounds like. So and I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that. And you guys watch it right now. You could let me know how you feel as well about that. Maybe I'm going a little overboard. Maybe but you guys let me know what you feel about Steve Macklin saying that he wouldn't mind going back to the WWE as the current Impact Wrestling World Champion. So we have Mike Bailey. This quick one today. One more thing I want to talk about: Speedball Mike Bailey. He won again. He's now 4-1 in the New Japan Pro Wrestling Best of the Super Juniors. He defeated Teton earlier today, so he's now 4-1. He is now tied in his block with 8 points. He's tied with Taji Ishimori and Leo Rush. All three are 4-1 with 8 points. They're all tied at the top of their block. Thursday, that's tomorrow, Speedball Mike Bailey 1-on-1 against Suzuki. And on Friday, he goes 1-on-1 against Taji Ishimori, which should be an absolutely outstanding match. Bailey against Taji Ishimori. Bailey should beat Dookie. Dookie actually defeated Leo Rush, which is very surprising. I didn't watch the show, but I just saw the results, and Bailey should beat Dookie tomorrow. And him against Taji Ishimori is going to be an absolutely outstanding match on Friday. Looking forward to that one. But once again, going to leave it at this. Von Erichs are free agents. Impact Wrestling sign Marshall and Ross Von Erich right now. Okay, so we'll leave it at that. Any news breaks, I'll be back. But until then, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.